Hey CEO, this episode is for you. You know why? Because you have launched your firm and you are actually ready to scale. Or you scaled before and you're like, I need to scale in a different way. I need to scale with a bit more wisdom. It's also for you. You who say, I am ready to actually launch my own firm. I am ready to step out on faith. I am ready to service clients. I am ready to have my own, to see my name in the lights, to see my name on letterhead and on envelopes and on business cards as the CEO and owner of the firm versus the associate or of counsel or whatever you're serving as. So this episode is going to dive a bit deeper when we talk about, look at those last few episodes, we talked about execution and authority, right? And what does it look like to keep your authority and give your team the power to execute? But today we're going to dive deeper and we're going to talk about delegation. So if this is your first time here, then welcome. My name is Alicia Jones. I am a Texas-based attorney, and this is the Attorney CheatCode Podcast, where I'm going to give you tools necessary to fast-track your way to profitable firm ownership, to not just create a firm to say you have one because whoop-dee-doo, but to have a firm that's going to afford you and your family, your friends, and your firm people, your staff, the life that you really want to live. And that's what it's about. It's about building a firm around us versus building our lives around the firm. If this is your first time here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button to be notified of future episodes. And if you've been with me before, share this episode with another attorney. And just in case you're one of those you're like, I've already scaled and I already have a firm and I'm already good to go. Great, good for you. Send this to the person beside you. Send this to the attorney that is beside you because they for sure need to hear it. I know I needed to hear it when I was starting, and I wish that somebody would have told me, hey, before you have a full team, this is what you need to do. And if you can see me, I am rocking my Troy basketball sweatshirt. So I played basketball in college for Troy University in Alabama. And there's so many things that I learned from teamwork by playing on an actual team, especially D1 basketball. You learn a lot. And I definitely have carried that from the basketball court to the judicial court. But nonetheless, more on that later. So let's talk about delegation. Oftentimes, when we think about delegation, when you've thought about it, what did you think it was? When you think of the word delegate or delegation, what comes to mind for you? Right? So you think about delegation, you think about giving somebody something to do, right? And as CEOs, we're thinking, I have a full platter of things to do. I want to take some of these things off of my platter. I'm not even calling it a plate anymore. I want to take some of these things off of my platter and I want to give it to some of my team. And that's exactly what you should be doing, because in the last episode, we talked about how your payroll should increase your capacity, which means that if I am hiring people on, they should be able to increase my capacity to do what I need to do the CEO level things of the firm. And if that is for you, maybe like, I still want to be able to practice and I want to be in cases. Great, that's fine. Build the firm around you so that you can do that. Some of us say, I want to build the firm to be an ecosystem of itself so that I can, be at a bird's eye view and manage, but I want to do some other things outside of the firm. And I need for the firm to be able to run smoothly so I can do these other things. Wherever you fall on that spectrum, delegation is going to help to get you there. Make sure, again, to check those other episodes so you can understand the difference between execution and authority. But when it comes to delegation, you think about, what does delegation mean? Let me show you what it actually looks like with a lot of firms. You'll have a firm owner, you'll have a CEO, have a supervising attorney even, and they'll have a lot of things on their table that they need to do. And they say, I'm going to give this to my paralegal. So let's think of a dump truck. You have a dump truck full of things. And if you have been in Houston or around Houston, Texas, for any number of hours, you have seen the construction that is going on here. Again, Michigan, I went to school in Michigan. So for Michigan, you're going to see the construction that is always going on. And if you think about it, you see these dump trucks, and in the back of the dump truck, it's full of dirt. It's full of something, and it's going from point A to point B, and it's just full. And if we don't delegate correctly, what it looks like is You take your dump truck full of needs and tasks and assignments, and you take it to your paralegal's desk and you just let the back open and you dump it right on their desk. And then you're confused when they are tired, they feel overworked, they are not meeting your expectations because they have this litany of things that you've dumped on them, but you've given them you haven't actually delegated it. You offboarded that. You just offloaded this ton of information, this ton of work onto someone else's desk without actually delegation. And that's where CEOs get confused. Delegation versus offloading. We are not here to offload the work onto them. We're here to delegate. And the difference between delegation and offloading is assignment. It's the intentionality behind the gift of the work that you're giving them, right? I want you to think about it this way. When you think about delegation, it comes with assignment, which means that it comes with parameters, it comes with boundaries, it comes with expectations, and it comes with clear communication of how do you succeed with what I've just given you. And I hear you. You're like, you know what? I hired you. You should already be able to do that. Yeah, some things they absolutely should. More times than not, though, they may know how to do it at someone else's level of capacity or some other attorney's level of do it and get it done. But is that yours? Is that the way that you want it? Do you use the same font and font size and structure for your letters, or do you need to let your team know this is what I expect, this is what I want, so that when you have the final product on your platter, now you have a bit less to review because you've given them those initial tools to succeed. So I want you to think about this. Let's think about a cover letter, for instance, and you say, I need to draft, I have about 10 cover letters that I need to get out, but I really wish I could give it to one of my team members. But I also know that I need to get it out pretty quickly and I don't have time to do training. I'll just do it myself. I want you to let that vocabulary go. First of all, I'm just going to do it myself. Nobody is an island. Nobody has been successful by themselves. Nobody. There's not a Beyonce in the world. There's not an Oprah Winfrey in the world. There's not a person in the world that has attained a level of success and they've done it on their own. And if they tell you that they have, they're absolutely lying, because we all need people. We all need support. And we were created to have community and to receive support and to grow together. So even if we think about our creator, we have Jesus who walked the earth and who could have more than and beyond anybody else could have done all the things by himself, but chose 12 disciples to walk with him to actually accomplish his mission, right? So he was showing them what he wanted them to do and to be once he was gone. But again, he could have done all the things by himself. He could have done all the miracles without any of them walking with him. But he chose to have support. So he modeled what it looks like for us to lead, and to what does it look like to actually have support. What does it look like to lead? It means that you have someone with you. You have a support team. You have a staff of people that have a certain level of skills to help you get to where you're going, because you can go further with your staff. You can go further with support. You can go further with the community versus by yourself. Yeah, you can probably go faster because you're not checking for anybody else, but how far will you actually go when you're on your own? Okay. I'm off my soapbox. So if we go back to the dump truck, so you're thinking about this dump truck full of information and these tasks that you're bringing to your paralegal's desk, but you have to change the mindset of what it looks like to actually delegate. Offloading means that I've given you something, I've given you no direction, I've given you no clarity. You don't know what good looks like. You don't know what my actual expectation is because I have not defined what that looks like. Let me tell you how to do this. This is a cheat code. What you do when you are ready to, you look at this assignment and you're like, okay, I know it needs to be done, but I don't need to be doing it. I have some other things that are a bit more pressing that actually need CEO level, bar cart level of, intentionality behind it. You hit a Loom video and you just go to Google, top right, you hit the video, it's a plugin, and you can just search it. So Loom, you're going to get that and you're going to open it up and you're going to record yourself while you create one cover letter. You're going to create a template. You're going to tell your team on the first page, for instance, this is where our letterhead goes. So you need to begin 8 spaces down. It needs to be 1.5 spaces. It needs to be Times New Roman 11 or Book Antiqua 12 or whatever your font and font size is. I want the letter left justified. I want each paragraph to be indented twice. I want dates and numbers bolded and underlined or italicized. I want to make sure that it's clear from the top that the date is here and the to and the from and the salutation, it looks this way. And this is the body of the letter. This is how I want it structured. At the end of the letter, this is how I want to end it. Warm regards, best regards, sincerely, yours truly, whatever the case may be. Now you're giving this to your team and you're saying, this is the structure. And that video probably will take you 90 seconds to record. But what type of time will that save you if you have that stack of 10 letters, you've recorded this 90-second video and you hand it to your team now and say, hey, watch the video before you start. And this is your assignment. This is what good looks like. This is what success looks like. This is when I need it back. Now you have delegated to them the execution. Now they know what to expect. Now they know how to make you happy. And now when you get that back, because they also need to know, well, when does it come back to you? And you say, hey, once you have this letter 90% done, I'm going to fill in certain spaces. If it's about the legality or if it's about the law or whatever the case is, then you say, leave that blank, leave a space for me. I'm going to fill that in. Once you've done these parts 1, 2, 5, 7, and 9, I want you to go ahead and send it back to me, and I'm going to do my review. Now they know how to win. And now you don't have to worry about what they call boomerang tasks. Now you don't have to worry about putting that dump truck of tasks on their desk just for them to come back and say, well, with this letter, because clearly your letters should all look the same from your firm. That's first of all. But if they come back and they're like, so the way that I did it at my last firm, or the way that I write letters, we don't have time for that. You're not at that last firm. When you come in here, I want you to follow the rules in the way that I have laid them out. I know how I want things to be. I know how I want things to go. And maybe that's something for you. You're like, I don't even know how I want it to look. Decide. Period. Period.com exclamation point. Decide. What do you want your cover letter to look like? It doesn't mean that 10 years from now it has to look like that still, but create a template. Actually type it out. Get on the Loom video, show them, walk them through it. And maybe you're saying to yourself, I hear you, I hear you, I hear you. You're like, you know what? I don't even have staff. So why am I worried about that? Because at the point that you get staff, now they come into a full firm that is ready to go, a fully optimized firm. And they come in, they're like, oh, she means business. Oh, he means business. He don't play. I'm the first hire, and you have a full suite of training videos because you show me how to do things, whether you use Loom or Trainual or whatever other platform you're going to use. Now they come in and they know what the expectation is. Now they know how to succeed. And now they also don't have to come back to you and say, get any more clarity because you've given them the information that they need. Of course, they may have questions, and that's fine. And at the same time, you're like, hey, here's the video, watch the video. Make the attempt and let's talk about it. What was not clear in the video? Because now you can go tweak it. They're telling you what you need to say and how to help them succeed. Because you hire people and you take them through an interview process and you look at resumes and you're deciding between candidates and you make them an offer. All of that to bring them into the firm so they can't be successful? That doesn't make sense. So do what it takes to help your people succeed. And it may feel like, oh my goodness, I just want you to do it, or you should know how to do it. That should, and that common sense is not common. That is the reality. The should is throw it away. Just throw the should. You should know how. You should whatever. We all should, and we don't. So make it clear for them. Make it plain, and actually delegate. Do not just offload, but delegate. What does good look like? What do I expect? When do I need it back? What does that look like for you to succeed with this task in this position, whatever it is? Now, when you're looking at your platter, you've gotten rid of 10 cover letters. And now they're looking at their plate. They're like, yeah, I have some work to do. And I know how to do it. I know how to be effective. And I know how to make my supervisor and my boss happy. I want to give you another example. So I want you to think about this. So think about your phones. Do you know how important your phones are? It's very important. Phone calls are how typically, even in this year, Phone calls are how people are going to connect with you and your team. So, do you have a script that people follow in the Chick-fil-A way when they answer your phone? Does it sound different, depending on who answers? Do they answer with a smile on their face, even though no one can see it? And there's so much science and studies behind that. If you smile, people can feel it through the phone, but truly, is there a script for how to answer your phones properly? And have you gone through and actually done that? Have you done a cold call or done a fake call and recorded that? And get a friend. Anybody will help you with that. Get a friend and do a call to show them how do we address people. One of the things for me and my firm is we address our clients as Mr. and Mrs. That's huge for me. Maybe I need to go to therapy to figure out why. I don't know, but I love that I am addressing my community and my people as Mr. and Mrs. Sometimes, and what I've gotten feedback about, especially for my male clients, is nobody calls me Mr. I appreciate that. This is so formal. It sounds so different. Yes. First of all, it's formal because I'm charging you. We're not friends over here. Yes, you are now my community and my family, my client family. Howbeit ever, I need you to always know that there's a distinction between you and I. There is, I am the attorney, you're the client, and I'm going to handle you with care and with respect. And I'm also going to expect the same in return. So I'm going to call you Mr. and Mrs. because you're also not going to be like, hey, Leisha, not quite. That's just how I roll. You could be a first name attorney. That's cool. But when it comes to your script and when it comes to you answering your phone, that should be, and I say the Chick-fil-A way, because if Chick-fil-A is still doing the things that they should, once you say thank you, they all say the same thing. You don't go to Chick-fil-A and they say, thank you. It's like, oh, you good? Wait, what? It's my pleasure. However they are addressing it is a very intentional way. They have been trained and now it is consistent. And that's what you really want when you're thinking about, for instance, it's just an example, your phones. What is the consistency on your phones? How are clients or callers addressed, regardless of who answers the phone? But that is something that has to be delegated in the right way. Who's going to answer the phone? Do they have the right temperament and attitude to do it? What does good look like for them? And you have to go through this process for each task that you have. You have to go through the process, and it is a 4-step process. And that is the only way that your team is going to know how to succeed. So you want to know the process? I hear you. You're like, just tell me, what is it? It is a 4-step process. So grab a pen or grab your stylus, go to your notebook pad in your phone, and let's talk about what that 4-step process is. Okay, so the 4 steps and the 4-part process that you need to go through as a CEO, this is the cheat code, is to think about 1, what is the outcome? Number 2, we're going to talk about clearance level. Number 3, we're going to talk about what are the parameters. And then number 4, we're going to talk about review point. So 1 is the outcome. 2 is our clearance level, and we're going to dive in so that you understand what I mean. 3 are going to be your parameters, and then 4 is going to be your review. So the first thing, of course, is outcome. What does good look like? What does it look like to succeed with this task, with this assignment, with what I've delegated you? What does the outcome look like? And do not leave it up to your team to make that up, to dream about it, to wonder. Make it very clear. Because the other side of that is if once you've done the things to help them and you're making it clear, and that is if someone is unable to follow those directions, it's time to invite them to different opportunities at someone else's law firm. You've done your part. We're not here to drag, we're here to empower. So when you're thinking about outcome, what does the outcome look like? What does it look like to be successful with this assignment, with this task, in this position? What is that outcome? So that's number 1. The next thing we want to talk about is our clearance level, right? So we're keeping the authority to make sure that things are done in the way that we want them to be done, and we want them to execute. So to what clearance? Meaning, this is something we touched on before too, is think about your administrative team and they have the authority to spend a certain amount of money. What clearance level do they have, right? What clearance can they spend up to $500 without having to come back to you? Can they spend $5 without having to come back to you and get clearance for more? So what clearance level do they have? When it comes to your calendar, do they have clearance to go ahead and book you out as much as possible on every single day? Or do you need to let them know, hey, on Tuesdays, actually, I go to lunch with my kiddos and I want a block of time every Tuesday from 12 to 2. Don't set a hearing, don't set a meeting. But if you don't tell them that, they don't know that. So you have to give them clearance and give them parameters around that clearance of what does it look like to do this task or to set this meeting or to support you. What does it really look like to support you? And if I am, and I know what good looks like, I know the outcome, what's my clearance level? What authority do I have to move forward? How far can I go without having to come back to you? And the other thing I mentioned is parameters. That's number 3. When you're thinking about the parameters, how far outside of the boundaries can I go? Where are my boundary lines? Are the boundaries so thin? The boundary lines so thin I can't even see them? Am I drawing my own boundaries? Are boundaries defined? What are the boundary lines? What are the parameters that I'm working with? So you want to think about this as a CEO. Your equation is if X, then Y. If the court calls, then interrupt me regardless of what I'm doing. Very simple example. If I am in a meeting, do not interrupt me unless it is the court. If it is if I am with my kids at lunch on Tuesdays, like I've told you, I want to do lunch with my kids on Tuesdays, do not interrupt me, even if it is the court. It's your firm. If that's what you want to do, then you're setting your parameters and you're telling your team, this is how you succeed and this is how you support me. If a client calls about, and they're disgruntled and they say A, B, C, D, then why, right? Then this is what I want you to do. So if a client calls, they're upset, then schedule them for an appointment. If a potential client calls and they want a meeting on today, is that within your firm policy to do same day meetings? What does it look like to do same day meetings? What does it look like to schedule with you? Are they scheduled with someone else? All of these are parameters. So if a potential client calls after 12 o'clock on a day, then they have to be scheduled the next day. Now your team knows how to succeed. And you know what they also didn't do? They didn't come back to you to interrupt you to say, don't do that. Me. That's why I train my team. So such and such is on the phone and they want to talk to you. Girl, who is that? Who is Bob? Who is Philip? Who is Jim? Who are these people? Because people will for sure call, especially when they're trying to sell you something. They will call and act like they know you. Hey, I'm calling to speak to Alicia. Even if we go to the same church, you're not calling talking about, hey, I need to speak to Alicia. My family knows not to do that. So what boundary lines and what parameters have you put in place for your team to make sure that they are able to support you in the way that really works for you and in a way that is going to empower them to feel like, okay, I'm actually doing something worth doing here at the firm. I'm actually helping and I'm actually servicing the clients and, making a change, because the people come to you, they're working for your firm because they believe in the law. They are excited about it. Some people wish they could be an attorney, but they know, I don't have what it takes, or they feel like I should say, they don't have what it takes to go to law school. Or maybe they're older and they're like, you know what, I missed my time. I don't really want to do that anymore, but I want to be around the law. So what are your parameters so that your people can be successful and so that your people can actually help you? And then point number 4 is the review. When does it come back to you? And of course, if you have associates or you have senior paralegals or even senior administrative staff, it should flow through them before it gets to you. So even if it is those 10 cover letters from before, if you have an associate, that associate should do a once over before they come to you. And then hopefully by the time they get to you, you are putting a signature and saying, hey, this is good to go. Even if you don't, though, now who does it go to? At what point does this assignment, does this delegated task come back to me for a final review? Because it's up to you. You are the one with your name on the billboard. You're the one with your name on the front of the door. So at what point does this task come back to your desk? What does that look like? And if you follow those 4 steps for each of those tasks, then you're going to be successful in making sure that your team can be successful. So I want you to think about it this week. We have some homework. I know, because we are not here just to listen and have fun and play. We are here truly, truly, truly. I want to help you launch well. I want to help you scale well. And I want to help you get past whatever barriers that you have, especially when it comes to hiring. because people are necessary, especially as you scale. You can only do so much. You're only one person. So you're going to need staff. You're going to need support. So I want you to think about this week, whether you have a staff of 1 or a staff of 10, a staff of 25. I want you to think about for yourself. Think of the tasks that you have. Think of the things that take away from you being able to operate as CEO, and just choose one task to then delegate, not offload, one task to delegate. And then I want you to go through those 4 steps, and I want you to think about what it looks like for them to do good in this position. What is the outcome that you're looking for? What are the parameters they need to stay within? And when does it need to come back to you for a final review? Just one thing this week, and share it with me. Let me know what you're doing. What is the one task for you? Think about it. What's the one task for you that you're going to now create a Loom video? You're going to create a SOP around. And then you know that when someone comes into your firm, or even if you're having to retrain some of the people in your firm currently, you know that, hey, I've laid this out. This is crystal clear. If you can't follow this, then this might not be the place for you. Or maybe if you're saying you're not doing what I need you to do, have I told you what I want you to do? Have I made it clear and plain and simple what I need you to do and what it looks like to be good in this position? It's quite necessary. Common sense is not common, so let that go. Should is out the door. What we are doing is what's necessary to achieve the life that we want. We're going to create the firm around us so that we can have the life that we want, so we can have the dream life, so our family can have different experiences, so you can give back, so you can take care of aging parents. Whatever your why is, you want to keep that at the center of your mind when you're creating this list. And maybe it gets on your nerves. I hear you. I hear you. Maybe you're like, oh, I can't believe I have to do this. But you do. So here we are. So get it done. Just choose one this week, and I want to know about it. So send me a message, send me a DM. Let me know what your one thing is this week that you are going to delegate and prepare your team to take on and to be successful with. And I look forward to seeing you and hearing from you in the next episode as we dive a bit deeper to see what it looks like to really operate as a CEO and to operate well. I can't wait to see you in the next episode. Until then, I am Alicia Jones, and this is the Attorney CheatCode Podcast. And don't forget, go ahead and try this episode out. I'm sure it's going to be helpful for you.